All right, welcome back. Yes, indeed. We'll be talking about what some of the reports you just saw at Kaduna State University. We've got Sylvanus Balos joining us this morning. He's a student of Kaduna State University. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today on the program. Well, yes, the information is out there about the increase in the fees, but we also understand that there's been some negotiation or conversation, dialogue as to what to do, how to address all of this moving forward. Is there any impact being made, any headway? What is the current situation now?
Well, good morning, sir, and thank you for having me. Let me start from prior to date when we get to hear about the increment of the school fees. It was when we were writing exam and it came up in our school portal. And immediately we saw it, students started complaining about it, and the management called us, and yes, they make it official to us that yes, there's an increment in school fees from 26,000 naira to 150,000 naira. That was what we were told. And they asked us to go and pray about it and dialogue, and let's see how it can come to a minimum rate, but that is it. And since then, I remember it was during fasting, the student leaders decided to engage a lot of persons in Kaduna. There is nobody who tried to reach to help, and as it is, nothing came up. We try as much as possible to talk to all the influential persons in the state. But what baffles most of us much was that KASU is a formal institution, but there was no any formal communication towards that. There was nothing formal coming from either the state government or the school concerning the increment. What we just saw was an increment in our portal, and then they now call us and then notify us that yes, there was an increment. And after a few consultations, a few meetings with several people, we were called back by the school, and they told us that it has been brought back to 100,000, which is still not doable. And from then they came up with modalities that they are trying to see how they are going to liaise with Ministry of Local Government. They gave us a lot of offers, which, going by all those offers that they gave us, it's not doable. The issue is that we are not against increment of this thing, but we started from a school fees of 26,000 to 150,000 naira. Who are our parents? This is a state university, for crying out loud. It's a state university. And if you know where we are coming from, it's from Kaduna State, a northern state, for crying out loud, where the economic activity is not as gruesome as that of Lagos. So our parents are petty traders. Most of us sponsored ourselves. Most of us would normally go and do little jobs to raise that 26,000 naira. And just of a sudden is up to 150,000 or 100,000 naira. It's not doable. And since then, we're trying to talk to whoever we think can help. And there was no statement from the government until when the student felt that their student leaders were betraying them, we are not doing what we are supposed to do. They decided to go on protest. And we decided we are not going to allow these students to go into this protest. We must go with them, or else if something happens, it's going to backfire at us. And it was when we came out, the first 3 days, the protest was within the school premises. We just sing and walk, and then we are being called and like talked to that, no, this thing is not right, this is not right, we should stop. And it reached a stage whereby the student can no longer say or keep mute. We have to hit the street. We have to follow them. And I think it was when we reached to the federal state secretariat trying to see who we can talk to. We were not allowed in. The security stopped us. They asked us not to go in. And then students start getting angry. They say, okay, since nobody wants to talk to us, let's go to the government house. And we headed to the government house. On our way, we have been stopped by the police. We are not even having access. And then few of our colleagues were called in, and they went and they spoke. And that was when the governor came out and said there is no going back concerning the issue of school fees. So it was a big blow to us that more than 2 months we've been consulting, writing letters, trying to get to hear from the governor about the increment and trying to beg him, because what we are doing here is we are just trying to beg. Even the protest is a peaceful demonstration. We are just trying to walk down so that at least somebody could hear us. We are being told to go and pray, to go and meet pastors. We should make use of the Ramadan period and pray about it so that God will touch the heart of whoever that is in charge. We try our best to reach most of the influential people, but there was no any statement from either the government till when we hit the street to protest, and it was after then the governor came out with a statement that no going back, and it hit us badly because all of us were shocked out. So he's aware and he's not saying anything. The only thing we get to hear is no going back, and to be honest, it's not doable. If you could play back most of the interview you had, most of us check the students that are protesting. Check the students are protesting. We are children of, okay, some of us that will say that our parents are civil servants, they are either retired or at the lower rank. So it's we're in the stage of whereby we cannot afford these school fees, and we are not here fighting, but we are just begging if they can do something about it, please. We cannot afford this thing because you are trying to send, because if this 100,000 naira should stand, what I'm telling you, sir, that 80% of our students will be dropout. 80% of these students will drop out, and the remaining 20, some will be managing. Hello?
We'll get that sorted. Let me just come in here. You said that you were told to go and pray. Was that as a result of some of the consultations you had with some people in authority? I just want to clear that out. Who asked you to go and pray? Can you hear me? Okay, I think we may have lost him, but we'll... Okay, I hear you're muted. Okay, we can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I said it was when the school authority called us the first time when the issue came up, and they now told us that, okay, this is the decision of the executive, so we should go and pray and say, yeah, it was during the month of Ramadan. We should take advantage of the month of Ramadan to consult and equally pray about it so that something positive will be done, which we did. We prayed, we fasted during the Ramadan period. Some of the Muslim brethren fasted, even with the Christian, we joined them and we fast about it. We try as much as possible to contact some people who decline. You know, we did what we were able to do, and nothing comes out of it. That's why
I can imagine how you feel. And I can imagine how you feel. I mean, having gone through that, thinking, have your prayers been answered or not? But when you talk about the increment, so you say you were paying 26,000 naira, and then you got some prompt or a message on the portal, that's the university website, that it's been increased to 150,000 naira. And then you said that there were some consultations and that was further reduced to 100,000 naira. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as it stands now, the government is saying 100,000 naira or nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about the consultations, because you've talked about having consultations with school authorities. You also met with the state government. You said you had at least some interface with the state government. So what were the reasons given for that hike? Because I believe you probably asked why the hike, and what was the conversation like? Well,
I was not part of the delegates that went and saw the deputy governor, but from the reports we got from them was that they want to make the university of a standard to be one among the best.
Okay, the connection is frozen, but we'll try to get Mr. Silvanus Bulus back to at least continue that trail of thoughts. I mean, says the state government's reason for increasing the fees is to make the school one of the best. So that's about a 300% increase in fees. Imagine people paying 26,000 now paying 100,000. We'll still get the other sides to this, but as it stands right now, this is where we are. The students say 80% of them will drop out if this goes on, and I can imagine what that will do to the security in the state. And I mean, it has a lot of effects, really, spiral effects.
You know, one of the things that he also said, which I want to believe, sincerely, I want to believe that government thought it through. I mean, I want to believe that, because I don't think any government would want to put its citizens or indigents in any difficult situation, knowing what's going on all over the place. That's what I want to believe. So perhaps the conversation ought to be deeper with with the people, between the government and especially the primary public that is affected. But Mr. Bulus also said that they're not particularly against the increment, but 300%, you said, is way too much. It would be nice to know what is it that is bearable, because according to him, even the 26,000 naira to get it is already hellish, knowing their parents, and the parents are definitely, according to him, a good number of them are civil servants, and one wonders what the 30,000 naira minimum wage, even if you scale it up, would do for a family that has maybe 3 children or 4 children in university and all of that. So all those factors.
And the minimum wage that the states themselves say they can't pay.
Exactly. And then with the spate of the spate of unemployment and job losses, even in virtually every state, including Kaduna State, although they said they are also recruiting some other. Exactly. So those issues are there. I want to believe that those things have been thought. Sincerely, it's what I just want to believe that.
Well, it's not just about believing that. It is looking at the figures, what it tells us, because those things are very key. As much as one tries to believe it, but just look at what's before you. Look at the figures before you. So if the students are saying that the authorities there have said there is no going back, you wonder where to go from there. And do the students have the impression that it's been properly thought through? That's equally important.
Actually, that's actually why I'm saying it is important to let people understand. Because look, you got a job to govern. I mean, it's a job. It's not just people who elected us into office. No, the right term is people who give us jobs to superintend over their lives. It's like you got a job to be a parent simply by giving birth to a child. You have responsibility over that child. So I want to believe that conversation took place. If that conversation hasn't taken place, that's crisis waiting to happen.
Welcome back. I think we've got Bulus back. And Bulus, you're making a point about, I don't know if you could still maintain your train of thought. Could you go ahead and conclude that point? Or better still, let me add this so that you could respond to it in addition to what you were going to say. The state, we understand that there is some sort of scholarship scheme going on. Are you aware of that? Are the students approaching them to take advantage of that?
Well, I think, thank you, sir. The issue of scholarship, is something that I think is glaring. So you can come to Kaduna State University, call 50 students on a random sample and ask them who is benefiting from any scholarship. I bet you, sir, if you can get 5 out of 50, then I'm ready to forfeit my admission for that. The scholarship is on paper. I am currently in my 400 level. And from 100 level to 400 level, there is only one person in my department of over 150 students that have benefited from this scholarship. So the issue of scholarship, they actually brought the issue of scholarship to us. But we know that the scholarship is not doable. You cannot access scholarship. You go and check their portal, they will tell you that almost 500 students have, or 1,000 number of students have access to scholarship. But if you come in real life, you cannot count up to 20 students that have an issue of scholarship. You go to issue of scholarship, they start telling the issue of BVN, all this and that. Student at a certain point, they will get tired of going. So the scholarship, yes, the scholarship is there, but having access to the scholarship is the problem. There are some people that scholarship of 2013 up to now, they are yet to have access to it. But you go and check in their portal, it's shown that they've received scholarship, but in real sense, nobody received a penny out of scholarship. So yes, there is scholarship on paper. But if you come to Kaduna State University, thank God, a journalist, come to Kaduna State University, ask students about it. I bet you cannot get 20 out of the whole student that can say that, okay, they've benefited. And if you see students that have benefited, check around who are their parents. It may be someone that knows someone that they are benefiting from the scholarship. That is why this thing is not them. People that are having access to scholarship are people that will know that maybe they know someone that knows someone, their parents are in government. But we, the children of poor masses, who don't have access to the scholarship. So the issue of scholarship is in paper. We don't have, it's not real as it is. It's not real. It's not doable.
So if you could just go back to that statement you were making earlier on about the reasons given for this hike in the fees. You ended by saying the government says it wants to make the school the best, I believe. So if you could just go on that one, please.
Yes, based on the information I got from those that attended the meeting, they said reason why the government want the hike in school fees because they want to make the university among the best university. It's a welcome idea, but on whose detriment? The students? Where are we going to get it? Are we the one funding the government now to take care of our education? Sir, all these things that are saying. Let me make this thing clear. We are not here challenging the government or the VC, no, and we are not in total against of increment. We are mature. We are adult. We know the effect of COVID-19 hit everything. Price of crude oil, everything. We are aware of that, sir. But if you want to come and increase school fees, at least what happens to 50%? What happens to 50%? We are paying 26,000 naira. Without 26,000 naira, students are struggling to pay rent. If you go to Kaduna State University, we have only few hostels that is accommodating only the female students. How much is the hostel fee? 45,000 naira. At 45,000 naira to 26,000 naira, amounting to 70-something thousand naira, which some of these students are struggling to pay. So what about the remaining percent of students that are staying off K? How can they accommodate the hostel fee in Karaji is from 80,000 naira upward? So how do you expect them to pay? COVID-19 has affected our parents. Some of us that are going out to do business, none of us will be able to go out to do anything. We just resumed school and we wrote exam. Our landlords are telling us it is none of our business. We are not the person that brought COVID-19. So for the meantime that you are not around, you have to pay new rent. So we are having rent to pay, increment of school fees. Our parents are out of job. Our petty business that we are doing is not doable again. Our farms, we cannot even go to farm because of insecurity. So the thing is, we cannot do this thing. It is not doable. We cannot afford it. We are not against increment, but at least let it be of a reasonable amount that okay, we know that we can hustle hard to get this thing. Most of our students, I have friends of mine that I like James, Victor, we contribute money. We contribute money to do these things. I can send you pictures of during breaks and how we used to go and hustle, sir, just to make up 26,000. Now he's at 100%, 100,000 or 150,000. That means we are going to be dropped out. And just Kaduna State, sir.
Pardon me. Just actually adding to what you're saying now. If this increment were to go ahead, what would that do to your education, to your prospects in life as you see it?
Sir, nothing. We are out. Totally out. Because I can tell you, there is this lady in 200 level. She said, when we were writing exam, actually, when the news came out, increment of school fees, she told me that I'm not coming back to school again. Even the exam, I'm not going to write. She said, what happened? She said, her sister just told her there's increment in the portal. If this thing stands, I'm telling you that 85% of students in Kaduna State will be dropped out because they cannot afford it. Come to the university, come and see the student. You check the student in Kaduna State University, you check the student in other state university, you will understand what I'm talking about. We are the children of the masses. So if this 100,000 naira stand, I am telling you, sir, crime in Kaduna State will increase. Because if you check the rate in which crime is going on, when you start hearing from them, they will tell you that they've been neglected by the government, all this and that. So imagine a student of political science 400 level being a dropout because he cannot raise 100,000 naira. Do you think he can forgive the state? So we have issues. Yes, the state is suffering. Yes, there is no money in the country. We agree. But if the country does not have the money, is it all the students that will have the money that will depend on the country to have money? So if these things stand, just know it that 85% of students in the university are going to drop out. That is just it.
Okay, let me ask you this one just before we take this further. Is there any relationship between the student body and the school management? How would you describe the relationship between the two?
Well, it's called a father and son relationship that the father will not communicate to the son directly, but rather will write it on the notice board. Imagine in your family house, you have a notice board that instead of your dad to come and talk to you, go and do this thing, you go and write it in the notice board. Yes, there is a relationship, but the relationship is not too cordial to an extent, because I felt that the school should be doing more of this than us, which they told us that they've done their best. That's why it has been reduced from 150 to 100,000. But still, yes, the school is supportive, but we believe they can do more because they are the ones that interact with the students daily. They see how we struggle to pay our school fees. They are in charge of the ICT, they're in charge of the portal, so they know from what range to what range so person have paid their school fees, so person have paid their school fees. So before even letting it go to the portal, they would have called the attention of the state government and said, look at how these students struggle to pay this thing. Look at how these students struggle to pay this thing. If there is going to be any increment, this student cannot pay. So we are expecting more of that from the school, which based on my own, we are not getting that 100% support from the school.
Well, we have to thank you very much for being a part of our conversation this morning. Silvanus Bulus is a student of the Kaduna State University.